Hello, everyone. So I am going to talk about like general tips for incoming freshmen. And my name is Hana Gabrielle Bidon, and I'm co-hosting it with the Chief Club. So a little bit of information about me is that I go to Cornell University, and my major is in information science, systems, and technology. My concentrations are in data science and behavioral science within that major. And my minors are science communication and public engagement, and also science and technology studies. And I'm going to be graduating the following school year. So hopefully, fingers crossed that I can make it. So the first step that I wanted to emphasize is that you should be not afraid to ask for help. And what I mean by that is that maybe you were hesitant to ask for help because you might feel that you're too dumb if you ask like a seemingly stupid question. But actually, it's fine. Like not anyone is going to care whether your question is stupid or not. It's more of an inner thing. So if you need help, go ask help from a classmate or the instructor or even just the teaching assistants, or as we call it more commonly, TA. So another tip that I would emphasize is that it is easier said than done, but please try not to compare yourself to others. Like everybody has started in a different, what you say, different point, and you may not know their story. So just because that person is doing better in the class that you're in doesn't mean that they have like all the strengths and not have some weaknesses as well. So you're gonna you're gonna see like a shift in studying in high school where you might be going by so quickly in getting all the subjects, but in college you have to learn how to study properly because classes are going to be much harder. So I emphasize going to class and actually paying attention to your instructor. Like just don't stand there and be aimlessly taking notes. Like be deliberate in what you take down. And if you're having trouble, don't be afraid to go to office hours to ask for help. If you're going to a TA's office hours, you can ask how they studied for a certain class. So, for example, I went to office hours for discrete math and I asked different TAs how to go about studying for a class. And sometimes you might find that different TAs explain different concepts differently, and you like the style of one TA over another. And goes to show that like if you want to succeed, there are certain places on campus where you can study better. So if you are a person who likes to study in the very quiet space, try to find quiet spaces in the campus, such as going to the library. And maintaining a regular schedule is imperative. So that means that you study like X amount of subjects every day, or preferably all the subjects, and try to maintain a good sleeping schedule. Because, like, if you don't sleep enough, you're not going to be able to study as much and you're not going to be as awake. So, tip number 4 is pretty self explanatory. Don't feel pressured to secure an internship after freshman year. Like, especially at top colleges, like you're gonna see freshmen trying to secure internships. It's actually not common for freshmen to secure an internship. So you can do summer classes, you can do research. It's fine. You're not going to die. Your career is not gonna thrive just because you didn't get an internship freshman year. So tip number 5 is learn how to organize. If you haven't already, you can try tools like Google Calendar, Trello, which is basically like a to-do list, and Notion. And try not to overwhelm yourself with too many classes and or extracurriculars. So try not to have too much going on your plate so that you can execute what you want to do well, instead of like trying to pressure yourself to take all the classes, all the extracurricular activities. Like no one's gonna win if they do that. Just try to have like a work-life balance. And I wish someone told me that I won't have everything figured out. So when I was in college, like in freshman year, I definitely thought that I definitely had everything figured out. So I thought I was going to be a mechanical engineer with an aerospace minor and then eventually worked in the aerospace industry. But after taking Physics 1 at Cornell, it was not the path I wanted to go to because I didn't want to constantly struggle over problem sets for homework. That was very difficult for me. So I tried out different subjects and eventually found out I wanted to be a data scientist. And that goes into the next tip. Try everything that interests you. So like when you go on campus and you go see Club Fest or like a showcase of all the different clubs or the project teams, don't join it just because it's gonna look good on the resume. Join it because you're passionate about what you're doing or what you're eventually going to be doing. If you want to pursue research, like wait until at least freshman spring, because freshman fall you're trying to adjust to the college landscape and college classes, and it's important to get your resume reviewed by career services and upperclassmen. Like there are career workshops where you can get your resume reviewed, and also look at email templates on inquiring research opportunities, or in the doubt that you don't get a good email template, try just stating your name, your major, your college. If they require GPA, please disclose it. And then tell about your interests in research. Don't be vague about it, be very specific. So go into the details of the research and connect it with your classes, your extracurricular involvement, or your basic interests in general. Like professors can see when you made a generic email. And as much as you want to prioritize your academics, it is more important to prioritize your health, because if you're not feeling well in any way, shape, or form, you're not going to perform at your best. And if you want to seek professional help for like mental health or physical health or sexual health or any sort of health, please do so. And if you feel like you're either too burnt out, you don't want to go into fall taking online classes, like take it off if you want to, because like you don't want to just push yourself too much without burning out. And yes, grades do matter, but not at the expense of your health. So as much as you want to try your best and not get below a 3.0, like it's not going to be that much better if you get like a really high GPA, like 3.5, or like at least 3.5 if you're like constantly burnt out. So yeah, some internships require that you do disclose your GPA, and some other ones have a minimum GPA requirement. I'm speaking from an engineering perspective, so I'm not sure what it's like in other fields. They range usually from 3.0 to 3.5. And if you want to go to grad school, like at least in the programs that I wanted to go to, like for data science, they have a minimum GPA requirement of 3.0, but please check the website before you try to do your best and try to get a GPA that you want. And this is an underrated tip because not many people do it. It's going to be hard to do it within your first 2 years because you'll typically have general education classes, but as you go into classes for a major, it's going to be easier to do so. So I recommend developing a relationship with your professors, and you can ask them not just on homework help, but you can ask them about career advice or research opportunities. So if you want to get a letter of recommendation out of them, like actively participate in class, even better, research under them, easier said than done. Use one of my last tips for that. And do well in their classes. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to type it in the Q&A chat. And thanks for tuning in Father's Day. Thank you. So it depends on the college itself at Cornell. It it definitely depends on class to class. So some classes have a curve, but some other classes don't. So that means like your grade is based on like how everyone's performance is, but some others don't. In my case, an A plus is like a 4.3. But in most colleges, that's not the case. Like, it's definitely like 4.0 GPA, and that's the max that you can get. Office hours are basically like, I don't know how to describe it perfectly, but it's like Q&A. Like when you receive homework help or exam prep in high school or middle school, but you usually have a set time for it instead of like just saying, oh, we're gonna have homework help after school. Like you have to go to office hours and you have to come with prepared questions so that the person holding office hours, whether it's the professor or the TA, can help you out. And there's usually like a group of people if it's a large class, like over 100 people. So it depends on the class itself, but the general format is you ask questions, the professor or the TA will help you out by just helping you with homework hints or exam hints. But you can also ask them about like class material and how you understand it. So it's more intimate than just a question asking a question during class if you're in a lecture hall, which is sometimes 100 to 600 people. So
And just to clarify, since people watching on YouTube won't be able to see the two questions that Hana Gabrielle just answered were what are the grading systems in college like, and what are office hours like? And if there aren't any further questions, we can probably end this now. But if there are, please type that in the chat or contact us through our Achieve Club email, and we'll try to redirect questions. All right, cool. I don't think I see any more questions. Thank you, Hana Gabrielle, for this really amazing seminar. It will be posted on YouTube for everyone who weren't able to attend due to Father's Day. That was definitely a miscalculation on our part, but since it will be posted on YouTube, it can still be viewed at a later time. Thank you to everyone who attended. And once again, thank you so much, Hana Gabrielle, for this really informative seminar.
thanks.